back to Man United. Do you think that there's a possibility, because I saw obviously after the Liverpool game against United, they interviewed both the managers, and Arne Slot was quite open with his game plan. He said that Man United, they've been pressing with two strikers in a 4-4-2 rather than last season they played as a front three. Do you think that that's food for thought for us, thinking, okay, so we don't have to defend three attackers, it's only two of them? Do you think that maybe Russell Martin could possibly look at that and think, okay, well, we can play with a four then if it's just the two tens as such, and not a three? That could be a catalyst for change, right?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I don't think it massively changed the way they go about business when they come to us. I just don't really see it. I thought they were really poor against Liverpool. I've got to say that they were really good for the opening 10 minutes. It was 100 mile an hour, that game. I watched all of it. I thought they started the game really, really well, and hope they don't start like that against us. I hope that we can mute them really quickly. But once Liverpool got into the game and got hold of the ball, they transitioned real quick, didn't they? They moved the ball back to front so quickly. They found little pockets of space between the midfield and the defence constantly. But you need the right players in there doing it. Liverpool did. Diaz was on the day. Diaz was really, really good. Him and Salah were just like so good. But they just drop and found little pockets of space. And United give you that as well. I think Casemiro obviously got called out. But to be fair, I really like Mano, but he had a really tough day. He had a really, really tough day in midfield. The pair of them it was a shocker from both of them. But United are there to be beaten. There's no doubt about it. And if we turn up and have a real go at them, it'd be a good game. I don't like a 12:30 kickoff. I hate them. And I was looking at the statistics earlier. Am I right in saying we've only beaten Man United at home at St Mary since we've moved there once? I think it was early 2000s, James Beattie. We've always had really good performances against them, but never beaten them. But wouldn't it be a great way to kickstart this little block of fixtures with a result against them? Anything really against them would be amazing. To get a point would be amazing, but to put a real solid performance in will give everyone a bit of encouragement right now. And I think that's probably what we need more than anything. We don't want them to come here and totally dictate the game. Because if we all turn up, the fans turn up, and we get amongst it, it'd be a really, really good game.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens, because obviously United signed a new number 6 just before the deadline on transfer deadline day, and he wasn't registered to play against Liverpool. He probably would have done. So I would expect we'll see, instead of Casemiro, we'll probably see him, Ugarte and Mainu together. I agree. I think Mainu's superb, but he really struggled, and Slot was quite open in saying why they did struggle. I think he said because the front three knew, so I think it was Jota, Diaz, and Salah who started the game.
Yeah, the front three caused so many problems, didn't they?
Exactly. So they knew as soon as the ball had gone back, they could press them, and if a mistake was made, they'd be on them. And they said, "How do you know that wouldn't have left you vulnerable?" And he said, "Well, because I knew that I had three midfielders that would just run." And he did. Yeah. And on the day, it was his Gravenberch.
Who played well. Gravenberch played really well.
He was good.
It was Gravenberch, McAllister, and Soboleski, is it? I can't pronounce his name.
Oh, Szoboszlai. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Gravenberch, and they ran just the whole time. They just ran. Yeah. I think if we can have this, for me, Joe Aribo cannot start this game. He's not got the energy to match a Man United midfield.
No, I don't think he
can't start this game. So does that mean you're going to see two changes in midfield? I personally, this would be the perfect game for Flynn Downs and Lezo Gachukwu to play together.
Yeah, to try and get hold of the midfield. I said that a couple of weeks ago.
Hold of that midfield. I think this game specifically is perfect for it. And then to have someone next to him on the half turn, and I know it would be brave to put him in, but putting in either a Diblin or a Fernandes, someone who is willing to play on the half turn and willing to give you legs and run. And I think Fernandes is probably the better shout, because it's a lot of pressure for a kid like Diblin. Maybe he would make more of an impact in the second half, but it's a big call. But I think if we want to overrun Man United, the only way you're going to get on top of them is in that midfield, I think. And
Yeah,
and Arnie Slot told you that outright. He did not leave any secrets. He said, "This is how we did it. This is how I thought it would happen. This is how it actually did happen." And Man United aren't going to change, are they? They're just not. They're just not.
yeah.
The only thing that might give them an insight, and I don't know if this is, what do you think about this? It could be quite far afield. Do you think that there's a possibility that Jason Wilcox could be sent down for a few days on the training ground this week, just to offer a little bit of insight from what he knows?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it? It'd be interesting to see if he's got the inside scoop, isn't he? That's for sure. He's got the inside scoop, and yeah, obviously left on some really bad terms in the end. I think he was quite ill, weren't quite quiet, but I think he was probably put on some sort of gardening leave, I would have thought. But it wasn't handled too well by him, and certainly United coming after him at the stage they did come after him really, really poor. But yeah, I think the midfield battle's key. I think you're right with what you're saying. I think Oguchukwu and Downs in there would be a really good combination. I like what I saw of Oguchukwu the other week. He's powerful, he's big, he's got legs, he run. And that's what you're going to need around United. And he doesn't have to play a double pivot with him. I know he can play in the 6, but he doesn't have to play him as a 6. I don't think he always played as a 6 at Chelsea. So he's got the freedom that one of them can go. But I think you're right where you need legs. Rebo gives he can work hard on his day, but you've got to be so good on the ball. You can't give the ball away. It's one thing I've noticed about him a little bit this season. Gives the ball away a little bit too sloppy. And that's one thing we need to eradicate real quickly. And I think with two composed players on the ball will make it a massive difference. And like you say, then you have to find somebody in the side that's got some legs to carry the ball. I think we'll give United a really good game. I wasn't impressed with De Ligt at the back. I didn't think he was particularly good against Liverpool, to be fair. Maguire played for England at the weekend. I think he's played for United. I haven't watched all their games. So obviously, he didn't play in that game. But yeah, I wasn't impressed with De Ligt. I would love to see Cameron Archer in around him on his shoulder, causing him problems. And a front three that are going to work. I think it's got the makings of a really good game.
Absolutely. And there's always the option as well. We haven't really touched on it, and I'm not saying that that it's a possibility of even happening especially against Man United. We don't know. It might not happen like this, but there was the possibility that we bring another winger in, then, i.e. Maxwell Cornet, Brereton Diaz can play in a 9.
Yeah,
there's a good chance that we could see Diaz posing a physical threat against De Ligt and especially Martinez, stick him on Martinez just because of the height disparity there. And so you put him in the middle and you could cause a few problems. I have a strange feeling Adam Armstrong won't play, so that would leave two spaces on the wings up for grabs. So whether Cornet's fit enough to play, I don't know. I don't think he would throw him in this early. Diblin's played on the wing before. You've got Sam Ammo. You've got obviously now Ryan Fraser as well. You've got a few options. It'd be interesting.
I think it'd be interesting.
So I think I'm more interested to see what happens in the front three. I think if we do obviously that's if we do play a front three. There's a lot in the air. Which means United aren't going to know what we're going to do either. So that's a good thing, I suppose.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a good thing. We can't complain at that. Absolutely. Yeah, and then after that, mate, we travelled to Everton. Haven't really got a lot to say about that one. I don't suppose you'll be going up to Merseyside on a Tuesday night, will you?
No, I don't fancy it. I think it's a good game for the squad players that are not getting any football time at this moment in time. A bit like what we did in the last cup game. Sam Ameyao can get some more games. I think Tyler's going to be getting a fair bit at the weekend, so it maybe doesn't appeal to him so much. But there are squad players that need game time, isn't there? So it's ideal for that. But again, a game you don't really want to go and lose. I think Everton are having a really difficult time as well. They're right down there with us at the moment, yet to win a game, but they're leaking a lot more goals than us. Their fans are really restless. So two sides that are not in great form before this weekend's fixtures, but the cups is a bit of a pain for us, really. It's just that opportunity to give a few people a little bit of game time. The likes of James Bree can have a run out, and people like that, Charlie Taylor.
Yeah,
it's perfect for them.
Absolutely spot on, and maybe we might see Ross Stewart in that game. You never know.
Maybe.
There might be a miracle. You might see Ross Stewart in that game. So that's a possibility. And then after that, we'll try and get one in next week, mate, because it's probably going to be one of our biggest games of the season, especially if
Probably
we
the
don't
biggest game this month at home. Yeah, it's a huge game because we've got
if we don't get anything against United, especially, then that is the game, isn't it?
Yeah, I've watched all of Ipswich's games. I've watched all the highlights. I've done the 30-minute highlights where I can as well. So I've watched a bit more in depth. But they actually look really good. They've done okay. They did okay against Liverpool in the opening fixture. I thought they were a little bit unlucky actually, but Liverpool's such a good side. They're clinical. But they've made some interesting signings. Calvin Phillips looked fairly good against Fulham before the break. He's got a point to prove. Liam Delap looked a real powerhouse. He looks quite strong. Looks a real handful against Fulham. Whether he can be consistent, then that's always been his issue, and whether he can stay fit. But I think it's a big game. We didn't beat them last season. A team that come up with us, and probably if we're going to stay in the division, a game you've got to win. Really, truly, it's a game that we need everybody together, no matter what. We need every single one of you that's sat in the crowd, and we need everyone together for it. And we'll have to really give it everything we've got against Ipswich because, it's not a sort of game we want to be going in and losing. But yeah, they're a good side.
They are a good side, and they've given good sides a decent game. But again, so have we. We went to St James's Park and probably should have won. And
Exactly.
Brentford aren't a bad side, and let's be honest, Forest are nowhere near as bad as anyone has touted them to be. They're actually really good. It's just very interesting, isn't it? How Ipswich haven't changed a thing that they've done from last season. They just throw everything forward, throw enough shots on goal, and hope one of them goes in, and that's all they did last season. And they've got one more point than we do, but yet McKenna in the media is a fantastic young English manager who's going to go right to the top.
He's the Messiah right now.
Russell Martin is rubbish and is going to get sacked. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
So
it can turn around so quickly. It can turn so quickly.
So let's see what happens at the weekend. Let's hope we get something. Thank you very, very much, everybody, for listening or watching. If you're on YouTube, if you are on YouTube, please subscribe. It really does help, even just to know that you're enjoying it. We're nearly at 300 now, so it'd be great if we could hit that by the next episode. Go and follow Martin. I'm sure you do anyway, but I'll leave all of his links in the description. It's been coming up sort of on the bottom if you've been watching, but I'll leave everything in the description. Have a good week, everyone, and hopefully we can get something against Manchester United, and we will see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.